as this traffic continues, let me put forth a part 2, because this also occurred to me as another aspect of this scurrilous campaign of defamation that they're putting forth now, and the weirdness of it, the upside downness of it. It used to be that you're if you were in favor of opposing corporations, if you were against corporatism, that was seen as a liberal thing, right? Corporations were these big conglomerates, these big controlling entities which took away from local businesses and erased, made it so that everywhere was like everywhere else, and all these big chain restaurants and stores and so forth. It used to be that liberals hated Walmart. It wasn't that long ago. But now, somehow, if you are sorry, there's a little bit of a weirdness there with this road. Somehow, if you are too strongly anti-corporate, if corporations have some campaign and you speak out against it, you're labeled far right, because corporations are now have now been making this effort to co-opt all these SJW campaigns to show how pro-gay they are, to show how they're cauldrons of helpful diversity, virtuous diversity, and so forth. And now it's like if you're against corporate interests manifesting themselves, like if during a lockdown you notice that only the major corporations are allowed to be open, the mom and pop stores have to be shut down, and you say, wait a minute, this isn't fair. This isn't fair to the small business owner. That makes you far right. They'll tell you that you're far right. They'll tell you, they'll try to label you as a right-wing agitator because you don't think that big corporations should control everything, and you think that mom and pop stores and smaller businesses and family businesses should have more of a. It's like that's now seen. Oh well, people who talk about family businesses and small businesses, that's just coded language for fascism. I mean, that's basically what you hear today. That's basically what you hear from the official mouthpieces of acceptable discourse. And again, everything that they don't like, they're trying to label as far right. There's nothing particularly far right about opposing lockdowns. It's a perfectly reasonable position to take. It's a perfectly moderate position to take. Forcing a lockdown upon a state, a province, a nation is heavy-handed tyranny, and opposing a lockdown is not far right. It's in fact pro-liberty. It's in favor of freedom of speech. It's in favor of freedom of assembly. It's in favor of the free market. It's not far right. This is the effort that they're using to label anybody who doesn't want to just get steamrolled. Anybody who voices opposition to their plans to jab everybody who is in opposition to their overall schemes for the world, involving the biggest and the richest people. You know, it's far right to say, hey, what are all these billionaires doing? You're just a far right extremist if you say, why are all these billionaires and incredibly influential people meeting in secret and the media is not covering it? Oh, that's far right of you. You're obviously a person on the far right if you bring that up. No. I mean, isn't that something that if you actually believe that wealth should be distributed more fairly amongst the human population, you know, which is what I thought Marxists, people who claim themselves to be Marxists, supposedly believed, or people who called themselves socialists supposedly believed. You would think that they would have problems with all of these incredibly moneyed people, you know, people who have more money than, you know, a lot of countries do, who have more money to their name than probably several countries put together, that they're meeting in secret, talking about what they plan to do, what they plan to enact in the future, and you should just be copacetic with it. And if you're not copacetic with it, then you're far right. Isn't that just... Do people think about these things at all? Does this strike anybody as duplicitous, deeply duplicitous rhetoric, and even nonsensical rhetoric? That's it. That concludes my thoughts, I think, on this subject. But I wanted to get that a little bit more out. And now traffic situation is better, so I better go back to driving again and not being distracted anymore from the road. Anyhow, let me know what y'all think.